So after the last match, you were basically challenging your players to raise the standards. What response have you seen in training this week?
Well, they've been fine in training. They've all worked hard. They're such an honest group of players. I mean, we got them in and showed them video clips of last week because they've all enjoyed seeing themselves do well this season, whether it's on television or the highlights, and on Sunday night with the BT highlights, and we've scored a lot of good goals and played a lot of good stuff. But last week we weren't anywhere near our best, and so sometimes you have to see that and just face reality. The last 4 games we've slipped our standards, and the outcomes are there for everyone to see, and no one's in denial here. We need to pass the ball better. We need to show more composure when we're defending. But we've got it in our locker. It's up to us to get it out to the players, and sometimes you have to show them on the video.
That must go a long way to overcoming it, though. The fact that you have been there, you can hit those standards. You're not asking players to do something that they've not done all season.
No, not at all. We're hardly ripping it up the game plan and starting all over again. They're all very capable players, and they've proven that. And we've gone on good unbeaten runs, and we've kept it tight. We've also scored a lot of goals, and if we can just, it's about cementing our place in the playoffs, and then hopefully gaining some momentum for that. It's a topsy-turvy league at the minute. It's a roller coaster really. When you look at the results, we were all following them on Twitter, our staff, and you've seen the results all go our way. The other night, I think the teams in the top 7 have got a little bit apprehensive at times, and the ones at the bottom are scrapping for their lives, and that's what we're coming up against on Saturday. I heard their manager speak, and they're right up for it. They're playing really well, and to be fair to their crowds, they've been really turning up. I think 49%, I read the other day, increase in tickets sold for them this season, and attendances. So they're singing from the same hymn sheet, everyone, which is pretty powerful.
Battling for their lives, Havant and Waterlooville. Always a dangerous opponent, isn't it, when you come to this stage of the season with teams with so much at stake?
Yeah, 100%. There's so much riding on it with 5 games to go. Anything can happen, and that's what we tried to say to the players. Look, you might feel disappointed by this. You've seen yourself probably at your worst. Now, if it comes to the end of the season, a lot of people will say, "Oh, great! If we finish 9th or 10th, you've done well, first debut season." But it's inevitable. It's in our nature as staff. I think that we'll still want to push on. So don't let this opportunity as a group of players pass you by, and that you've not rolled your sleeves up and gone for it. It's a great opportunity for us now.
You've mentioned apprehension. You said the word anxiety after Saturday's game. How do you lift that?
Well, but as first thing protocol is face reality and not be in denial. We can see you're a little bit anxious at times, and it almost felt like we did need to go for them to concede for us to really have a go and take the handbrake off. But I think what we've got to do is break down everyone's game, and you do this. If you do that and that, we're really happy, and concentrate on that performance and everything involved with the individual's performance, and then collectively everyone should feel that they can focus on that rather than fearing anything. I mean, crikey, it's so much better to be in the top half of the table than the bottom half, where if people lose games, they go down. The reality is, the worst place we can finish, I think now is 10th. So it's not like we're going to get hung, drawn and quartered for doing that. But the best scenario is, well, who knows? It's there for us. We can go up. It's exciting, and we've got to relish it.
Expectations have obviously shifted as the season's gone on, certainly from the spectators as well. So do you feel maybe a little bit of the anxiety that your players are feeling is almost coming from the crowd?
It's up to us to turn that, flip that, and come out the blocks and be firing. I think it's hard for any spectator to have a go at a player when they know they're giving it their all. And I don't think... I think our supporters are a fair bunch, and I'd be surprised if anyone thought that anyone's actually taking the foot off the gas and not trying. I think they know it's quite an experienced group of players are new to this level, and they're learning all the time. So I think they deserve backing, our players. They're an honest, lovely bunch of lads. And I said to them, you're almost too nice at times. You've got to take your gloves off now, and we're in a scrap ourselves.
So looking at your team, you've spoken as well recently about what your front men are doing and lack of scoring opportunities compared to maybe where you were a few months ago. Is that now where your focus is? Is it shifted there from where it was defensively a few weeks back?
No, well, I think it's the whole, just take a step back and just try and relax a little bit in the final third. The final ball has been missing a little bit at times. At times, for example, George or Joe Leasley have delivered into great areas and we've not been there. It's almost like an invisible man has been pulling people back, or there's been diving headers where there doesn't need to be. But no one's hiding away from the truth. Everyone's put their hand up and said, yeah, I should have scored there, should have done that there. Now we're saying it as it is, and we're not effing and blinding, we're just saying it as it is. It needs to be better now, and it needs to be better, more consistently better.
So the team itself, are you thinking of more changes for this weekend?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, 4 results. Not going without a win is disappointing for us. So we're within our rights to change it. We always say that. I was brought up with Keith Alexander at Lincoln, and he said, look, 1 bad game, okay, 2 bad games, and it's time to change. So we're looking at a couple of changes. But all will be revealed at 2:00 on Saturday.
I'm sure. Is Jack Emmett back in contention?
Well, yes, but we'll have to see how his hamstring is. It's been tight. We've been wrapping him up in cotton wool. He's a good player for us, but we'll see what he's like on Saturday morning.
And is everybody you would expect to be fit still fit?
Yeah, no one's pulled out, so everyone's chomping at the bit. They want their opportunity, and they should do, because in 5 games' time they could end up being selected in the starting 11 for the playoffs. But I know if anyone's gone under, it's the sulk, and I get players, agents, who aren't in the team ringing and saying, why is my player not playing? That player's garbage, who's playing instead? But that's the modern day game. It's one of the frustrations of it, and it's up to players to take their chance and opportunity when they're actually in training. And if they haven't stood out in training, then that's where I see them, and agents don't. So it'll all be down to my fault if it doesn't do well, but hopefully the players will do themselves justice and they can take all the plaudits if we win.
And finally, one of your longer term injuries, Dom Knowles, how's he coming on?
Slowly. It seems never a quick result with him. We all want his body to heal quickly, and he's frustrated because he's done a few laps of the pitch and seems to be moving okay, and then the feedback is then the twisting and backpedaling he's struggling with. So it's a frustrating time for us all with Dom, because early on in the season he was an integral part of our plans, and he spent a lot of hours driving in, receiving treatment, going to the gym. It's a lonely existence, and that's the difficulty of it as an injured player.